How to read anyone in 4.9 seconds like Ayanokoji Kiyotaka. If you watch this video till the end, you'll never look at people the same way again, because you're about to learn an 8-phase psychological scan that exposes nervousness, fake confidence, hidden fear, and even lies within seconds. Most people only hear words, but Ayanokoji-type observation starts before someone even speaks. I studied behavioral psychology, interrogation tactics, and micro-expression analysis to build a system that lets you catch the tiny reactions human beings physically cannot control. And once you notice the first signal, you can never unsee it again. To master the very first phase of the Ayanokoji scan, the baseline and the break, you must train your eyes to look at a person before they realize they are the center of attention, and then capture the exact microsecond that changes. In a relaxed, unmonitored state, a person's posture, facial muscles, and breathing reflect their true emotional baseline. The moment you step into their line of sight or address them, their brain instantly switches to social mode, forcing them to deploy a manufactured mask of confidence, friendliness, or indifference. By hyper-focusing entirely on that split-second transition, you are looking for the masking latency, the subtle frame-by-frame lag it takes for their fake smile to load or for their shoulders to adjust. If you catch even a fraction of a second of friction between their unguarded state and their public persona, you have successfully bypassed their defenses and exposed their true emotional vulnerability before they've even uttered a single word. For the second phase, ocular gateways, you must stop looking at the person's mouth and lock your focus entirely on the involuntary muscle groups surrounding their eyes. While anyone can fake a smile, the tiny muscles around the eyes, the orbicularis oculi, are hardwired directly to the emotional center of the brain and cannot be easily controlled by conscious thought. The moment a stressful variable or sharp question is introduced, look for the involuntary microflinch, a split-second narrowing of the eyelids, or a sudden twitch where the inner eyebrows pull upward and together, exposing hidden anxiety or calculation. Immediately follow this by tracking their saccadic eye movements, which are rapid unconscious darts of the pupils. If their eyes instantly flash toward the exit, they feel trapped. If they dart directly to you, they are desperately checking to see if you detected their slip-up. And if they look down at their own hands, their internal confidence has just collapsed. For the third phase, spatial biomechanics, you shift your focus downward to read the tension and weight distribution of the body, which are governed entirely by the autonomic nervous system. While a person can easily fake their words and facial expressions, they rarely think about what their lower half is doing. You are looking for the gravity vector. If their weight is shifted subtly onto their heels, they are mentally retreating or hiding something, whereas weight on the balls of their feet indicates readiness to confront or engage. Watch for the shield reflex, which includes subtle blocking behaviors like crossing an arm tightly across the torso, adjusting a watch, or placing an object like a phone or a bag between you and them as an instinctual barrier against perceived threat. Look for asymmetrical tension, where the top half of their body tries to look completely relaxed and smiling, but one of their fists is tightly clenched under the table, or one of their feet is pointing directly toward the nearest exit, revealing a desperate internal conflict between the lie they are telling and their body's urge to escape. For the fourth phase, the controlled variable, you transition from a passive observer into an active instigator by deliberately throwing off their internal rhythm using a calculated silence. Most people rely on a continuous flow of social pleasantries and predictable back-and-forth dialogue to keep their protective masks intact. To shatter this, you introduce a completely deadpan, unblinking 2 to 3 second pause right after they speak, offering absolutely no facial feedback or verbal confirmation. This sudden vacuum of information forces their brain into emergency overdrive, as they desperately try to calculate whether you've seen through them or if they've made a mistake. An insecure or guilty person will immediately crack under the pressure, overcompensating by filling the silence with nervous laughter, stuttering, or unnecessary self-explanations. An arrogant or hostile individual will quickly flare up with visible irritation or try to aggressively stare you down, while a dangerous, highly calculated opponent will match your exact neutrality, instantly revealing their true psychological threat level based entirely on how they react to the void you created. So let's redefine the fifth phase as autonomic micro-vessel mapping. focusing entirely on the involuntary cardiovascular and respiratory shifts that occur right under the skin. Because these responses are controlled entirely by the sympathetic nervous system, they are physically impossible to fake, making them the ultimate truth-tellers. In less than a second, you must scan the carotid artery on the side of the neck for a sudden visible pulse acceleration, which signals a massive spike in adrenaline. Simultaneously, observe the base of their throat and the upper chest to track their respiratory shallowing. When under psychological pressure, a person's breathing will instantly shift from deep abdominal cycles to rapid, shallow chest breaths. Look at the tip of the nose, the earlobes, and the lips for micro-blushing or sudden pallor. As blood rushes toward the vital organs in a fight-or-flight response, the skin on the face will subtly change color or develop a slight sheen of perspiration, giving you a raw, unedited read on their internal panic. For the sixth phase, micro-peripheral kinetics, you expand your focus to the extreme extremities of the body, specifically the fingers and toes, to catch the leakage of nervous energy that the brain fails to suppress. When a person is trying to project absolute calmness, they concentrate almost all of their mental energy on controlling their eyes, face, and voice. However, because human cognitive bandwidth is limited, this causes a phenomenon called distal neglect, where the brain stops monitoring the furthest parts of the body. Look for the friction tick, a rhythmic rubbing of the thumb against the index finger, or the subtle picking at a fingernail or a thread on their clothing, which acts as an unconscious, self-soothing mechanism under stress. Simultaneously, look at their feet to track the seated bounce or the toe curl. If their legs are crossed and the suspended foot begins to rhythmically kick or tap, or if their toes tightly grip the inside of their shoes, it reveals a massive surge of hidden adrenaline and impatience, proving that their calm upper body persona is entirely an illusion. For the seventh phase, cognitive load asymmetry, you look for the precise moment their physical movements freeze because their brain has run out of processing power. When a person is suddenly forced to construct a complex lie, calculate a strategic response, or hide an intense emotion, their brain allocates almost all its mental energy to internal problem solving. This sudden spike in mental effort causes a phenomenon known as motor diminished response. Look for an instant, unnatural cessation of their natural gestures, a hand mid-air that suddenly stalls, a head tilt that locks into place, or a complete pause in their blinking pattern. Their body becomes rigid and motionless for a split second because the brain literally cannot handle the cognitive weight of fabricating a story while simultaneously managing fluid body language. The moment you see this physical freeze, you know their mind is scrambling behind the scenes to calculate their next move. For the eighth phase, symmetric echoing and sync breaks, you analyze the subconscious mimicry that naturally happens during human interaction to determine whether they view you as a leader, an enemy, or a target. When two people are in psychological alignment, their brains involuntarily synchronize, causing them to subconsciously mirror each other's posture, hand gestures, and speaking pace. You can weaponize this by executing a compliance check. Deliberately shift your posture, lean back, or cross your legs and watch their body over the next 3 seconds. If they smoothly echo your movement, they are submissive to your frame or desperate for your approval. However, if they execute a sync break, rigidly maintaining their posture or adjusting in the exact opposite direction, it reveals deep-seated defiance, hidden hostility, or a conscious attempt to resist your influence, signaling that they see you as an active adversary on the board. That completes the Ayanokoji scan. Master these phases, and you'll read everyone like an open book while remaining completely invisible. If you want to stop being a chess piece and start being the player, hit that subscribe button right now and drop a comment on which phase you're testing first. The board is set. See you in the next breakdown.